welcome back to the module on email writing. We had recently learned that when we are trying to send an email, my subject line plays a very important role. But there are a few important questions that one needs to ask. Here are: raise curiosity in your readers. When we are talking about raising of this curiosity, we are talking about how important it is to make sure that my reader is opening my email and reading it. That is where my subject line again comes into picture. Ask an essential question and let the reader click to find out the answer. Are you too suffering from hair loss? Are you too not so confident when it comes to public speaking, etc.? Do not start a sentence in the subject line and finish it in the body. The reason for the same is that we have studied that subject lines have to be short, crisp, and interesting. This would come across as a clickbait. You can use a question in the subject line in the following manner: what is life? What are the best business ideas, etc.? We spoke in the last few slides about using of an emoticon. So here, let's first understand what an emoji is. A small digital image or an icon used to express an idea or emotion is called an emoji. By October 2019, more than 3,000 different emojis have been released, and the number keeps increasing every day. Emojis play a very vital role when it comes to visualizing the way for people to quickly understand and interpret messages online. Our conversations over the digital platform, that is over WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, etc., have now been taken over by these emoticons and GIFs. They've become more and more popular for brands to use with their customers. What comes out to be the benefits of using these emojis? So the emojis make an email stand out, which increases email opening rate. Once the opening rate is high, that is where it is mandatory that my reader is going to click and open my email. It increases your brand awareness as well. Your brand becomes associated with that emoticon. Every time a person is using it, he or she remembers your brand. It helps save some space and the subject line fits into the mobile screen. We've seen that lengthy subject lines are difficult to read in one go, and that's the reason they end up in the bin. It gives you a glimpse into the sender's mind. What is it that the sender is trying to convey here? It reduces the risk of being misunderstood. As discussed, that this emoticon picture is worth 1,000 words. Here are a few tips that we need to take care of when using emoticons. Always test your emojis as emojis appear differently on different devices. We have been seeing this, that even the software changes make these emoticons look different. So it's all the more important that we have to keep a close eye on how they appear on varied devices. Do not replace your keywords with emoticons, because keywords help the reader click on your email. Use emojis at the beginning of the email so that it's better understood. Use popular emojis that people are mostly aware of. Keep emojis relevant and do not overuse them. This comes out to be the major problem today. When we are talking about the use of emoticons, here we understand that people have started using them excessively, because of which their charm finishes. So do not let the emoticon lose its charm. What is it going to do? It's simply going to help you streamline your message. There are a few points that need to be taken care of. First, ask yourself whether emojis fit into your subject line. If not, it's better to avoid them. Do not unnecessarily use them. Do not overdo the emoticons by using multiple in one go. Emoticons are displayed differently on every device. So again, be careful while choosing one. Use holiday-oriented emoticons during festival time, because that is the time where people are in the holiday mood, in the gifting mood, etc. Do not replace the main words with the emoticons, because here we are talking about the keywords. If keywords are replaced, my message loses its sense. Check after using them whether they match the vibe of your message or not. That's the most important task to be done, as good as proofreading your message. because if the emoticon displays something else versus your message displays something else, the entire flavor gets spoiled. You need to get rid of the spammy language. So here are a few tips that you need to follow in order to avoid going to the spam folder. If your email reaches the spam folder, it's of no use. Avoid using aggressive or sleazy language. When we're talking about such language, we're talking about words that do not fall under the normal language criteria. Avoid loud formatting like all capital letters. Again, this would make the message feel a lot more bulky or useless. Avoid using multiple exclamatory marks. This has become a common problem when it comes to writing. People feel that adding multiple punctuation marks like multiple full stops, multiple question tags, multiple exclamatory marks would add a lot of impact to the message, whereas it's a big no when it comes to writing. You have to make sure that you are adding a single punctuation mark while your sentence ends. Use only relevant words in your subject lines. Those are the key words, because we know that we have to make it short and crisp and to the point. You may also use send pulse to make sure that your email does not contain spammy language. If it contains any kind of spammy language, it's directly going to get redirected to the spam box of the person, which is going to spoil the entire flavor of your message. We have to make sure, how do we learn to avoid these spam filters? One is manipulative. When we are talking about being manipulative, we are creating unnecessary urgency or pressure. We just read about how to create that kind of a feel in the reader's mind, wherein we have to make sure that the reader clicks on the message and gets to know that a few hours are left, a few days are left, and maybe he or she is the lucky person who's getting this. So the process of being needy, wherein we are sounding desperate or aggregating the claims, exaggerating what is there in the claim. Please do not do that. As a salesperson, you should understand that sounding desperate and being persuasive are two different things. Being persuasive is what you have to be, motivate the person to buy the product. Do not sound desperate. Sleazy, wherein you're pushing the customer too hard to buy that product. The customer is smart enough today. He or she understands that you're being too pushy and would not want to buy your product. Cheap. No pre-qualifications, everybody wins. So there are supposed to be no pre-qualifications, and you have to make sure it's not sounding cheap. Far-fetched, wherein the statements are too good to be true. And we know that fancy things often end up this way. Shady, wherein ethically or legally questionable behavior is being talked about. When we are talking about such things, we have to make sure that it's not a shady plot that we are creating there. When we are talking about manipulative words in the subject line, the following words fall in the category of manipulative words. Let's have a look at them quickly. Act now, action, apply now, apply online, buy direct, call, or click here. So when I'm talking about all these things, we have to make sure that we are not sounding manipulative at now. Needy words and phrases. When we are talking about these words and phrases, we have to make sure that we are not using any of these, like best price, bonus, email marketing, free, for instance, instant access, free gift, free trial, incredible deal, etc. Sleazy words and phrases. As seen on, click here, click below, deal, direct email, direct marketing, do it today, order now, and unlimited. Cheap words and phrases. Avoid bankruptcy, boss, cancel, card accepted, certified, cheap, compare, congratulations, credit card offers, and cures. When we are talking about all these things, we have to make sure that we are not overdoing it. And there are far-fetched words and phrases which are additional income, All natural, amazing, be your own boss, big bucks, billion dollars, cash bonus, consolidate debit and credit. The shady words and phrases also include collect child support, copy DVDs, fast Viagra delivery, hidden, human growth hormones, in accordance with laws, investment, and junk. Now comes the most important part, that is the introductory part of any email, that is our greetings. When we are talking about greetings, greetings play an important role in your email. And when we are talking about greetings, greetings should be polite, greetings should be organized and directed towards a message that you're trying to convey in your main body. They reflect your relationship with the recipient. Greetings define the tone of your message, and they also help influence the recipient's perception of you. The first impression is the last impression. So you have to make sure that whatever you are saying, whatever you are conveying, is not going in vain. It is moving in the right direction. Without greetings, the email may come across as abrupt, and formally speaking, in the formal scenario, it is not acceptable. You might be considered rude in this case, and you might come across as a person who lacks social communication skills. When we are talking about this, we have to make sure that we are directive in a particular fashion. We are directing this message to the main body. We are polite. We are not blunt. And we have to make sure that the reader is focused on our message after reading the greetings. He's not moving haywire here. First time greetings. These are especially for people who we are communicating or contacting for the very first time. So let's read them. Dear Sir or Madam, to, you can insert Mr. XYZ, the last name, to whom it may concern, dear Mr. or Miss, dear first name, hi, first name, hello, or hello first name, or simple greetings. When we are talking about greetings, how is it that we take care of greeting multiple people in one email? We'd simply write things like greetings, hi everyone, hello everyone, or if we are talking to the senior people in an organization, hi, Mr. So and so and so. The first name, second name, third name. Informal email greetings. These are important because when we are talking about email greetings, that was more a part of your formal setup. Here, we're talking about your informal setup. They are typically few types of greeting when it comes to greeting your colleagues, your family, or your friends, like dear and first name. I hope this email finds you in good health or finds you well. Hello or hi. Hope you're having a great week or a great time, or simply the first name. Greetings for follow-up emails, wherein you're following up after you've sent a message and you want to see or receive some information thereon. I'm checking in on, and then you mention what you're checking on. Follow up on my last email, wherein you're continuing or sending it as a reply mail to your previous mail, as we discussed on our phone call. So you are connecting it to the phone call discussion that you had. As promised, here is, and then you mention whatever you were promised or you had promised. It was great to meet you at the name of the place. Here's more information on, and you elaborate your message thereafter. As promised, I am sending across whatever you wish to convey here. Can you provide me with an update on, and then the message that follows? Here are a few greetings that typically apply for replies. When we are talking about replies, the email greetings that you're going to use are as follows. First, great to hear from you. Thanks for the update. I appreciate for your quick response. Thanks for getting back to me. Thanks for getting in touch. Thank you for your help. Thanks for the fast response. It's great to hear from you. Email greetings are also dependent on the time of the day you're sending them at. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening are the probable three timings when we are talking about greetings. And you have to make sure that the person has to be living in the same area, otherwise, it's going to be a mismatch. There are a few points that need to be taken care of. One, you have to keep in mind whom you're sending this email to. That means you need to identify whether that's a formal email, informal email, or a semi-formal email, because here the tone and the greetings would change. Consider where you are in your communication with the person. If it is not the first email that you're sending, if it's the first email, that becomes all the more important because you have to break the ice and you have to begin the communication. It should not be an abrupt email without any greetings or without any salutations, because that's going to leave a great impact on the reader. Keep in mind the number of people you're sending the email to, because you have to be considering all of those people in that email. If you are sending the email to someone in your local area and are confident that the person will open your email at the same general time of the day you're sending it, that is where greetings like good afternoon and good morning work the most. Coming to the next important part of the email, which is your body of the email. Here, the body of the email fulfills the following purposes. One, the body of a formal email typically elaborates on the purpose of the email. Why is it that the email has been written? When was it written? Why was it required? What are the important terms and conditions to be taken care of? How is it that you have to deal with it? The body contains detailed information. All my WH questions, what, why, when, where, how, are answered in the body. You have all the scope of going into the details here. So when we are talking about the details, let's assume that we are writing an email for a small conference meet. My details relating to the time, the purpose, the venue, the number of people attending, etc. have to be there. You may mention your expectations from the recipient. You're requested to carry a notepad and a pen, or you're requested to carry n number of other things. Please make sure you're mentioning them. Next, you can also present yourself as an amicable associate or an employee in this case. Use of proper grammar and language is necessary. We have been talking about this right from the beginning for this part of the email typically, because it's the main body. If there are grammatical errors, if there are spelling errors, if there are errors in sentence structure, the readability becomes a concern. Use of abbreviations and slangs is to be avoided. And when we are talking about this particular part of the email, even jargons, technical jargons are not supposed to be used, because maybe we are sending it across to multiple people who are not aware of the same. The closing or the signing off. When we are talking about the closure or the signing off, please make sure you're using the following details. 1. Use your full name, always. Second, make your identity clear to the recipient of the email. You may also add your official details, the office address, the phone number, the email IDs, etc., fax details. Be professional in closing. Do not make it an abrupt ending, just where your body ends. Do not end it there. Give it a proper closure. Keep a professional tone by avoiding casual signs off like chat soon, etc. If you have exchanged several emails and feel that a more laid back closing would be appropriate, you can go for it. Decide whether a closing is appropriate or not. Here, you have to make sure, depending on your relationship with the other person who is the recipient, you may decide what kind of a closing is appropriate. With this, let's put a pause to this session. Thank you so much. Stay tuned.